the Jimmy Garoppolo situation is looming. He's there. We know he'll play if Trey Lance gets injured. The question is, at what point does Trey Lance get the hook from Kyle Shanahan? And I can't rule out anything because Kyle Shanahan is always going to be driven by what's best for the team. And Kyle Shanahan has a kind of personality where he can communicate to anyone on the team. He can find the words to say it in a way that gets them to buy in. And if he has to have the conversation with Trey Lance at some point that I have to take you out and let you continue to learn at a slower pace. It's going to be better for you in the long run. It's better for us now. He'll get him to buy in, and it won't be awkward, and it won't be ugly, and Trey Lance won't demand a trade. Shanahan can do it if he wants to do it. I just wonder at what point he does it. And Chris made a great point earlier this week. Next Sunday night, Kyle goes back to Denver. He's going to want to beat the Broncos. There's still some lingering animosity between the family and the Broncos organization. He's going to want to put his best foot forward on primetime Week 3 and Week 4 Monday Night Football against the Rams. Are you kidding me? So I just wonder how much pressure is on Trey Lance to go out there and show why they have the faith in him that they do, and will they lose faith in him if he fails to do that, Peter?
I don't think there is any way that Kyle Shanahan in the first month of this season can yank Trey Lance. He will be viewed as just the ultimate yo-yo artist if Kyle Shanahan does this. I will be shocked if any time in the first 4 games that he, barring injury, that he yanks Trey Lance. Mike, he's just got too much invested in Trey Lance to say, oops, never mind, all you 15 guys who we called in and said, hey, you got to support Trey Lance. And, because
we didn't
honestly,
say we were going to. We just said you have to. We didn't say we did.
Yeah. That's why he can't. Because the players on the team would look at him like, what is wrong with this guy? It wouldn't make any sense to me, Mike.
I don't disagree with that, but there's been so much about this entire ordeal that makes no sense. I guess I'm just ready for the next thing that makes no sense. And my point is that Kyle Shanahan is a guy who can sell it in a sensible fashion to whoever he needs to sell it to. Because let me tell you, Peter, those 15 veterans that they called in, those team leaders that they implored and enlisted to support Trey Lance, yeah, I thought it was funny when Jay Glazer said they didn't hesitate to agree. What are they going to say? No, we're not going to do it. Screw you. Of course they're going to agree to do it. They're going to do what the coach tells them to do. But at what point do they start looking at the coach saying, hey, you know what? We're not all in for the 3-year Trey Lance project. He may be better in 2024. We won't be here. We want to win now. We have a team that can win now. You got to do something about this. We want to win. We want our best guys on the field. That's the problem by keeping Jimmy Garoppolo around, because we know how they feel about him in the locker room. We've seen what he can do. If they start digging a hole, the question is, when does the desperation get to the point where Kyle Shanahan says, I'll deal with the scrutiny, I'll deal with the questions, I'll deal with Peter King calling me the ultimate yo-yo artist? That may not be a bad thing. You ever try to do a yo-yo? It's kind of hard to do. I mean, I could see him spinning whatever anyone says into supporting whatever he wants to do. That's one of his skills. He's able to come up with whatever he thinks is best for the team. He doesn't worry about what else it means, and he thinks and believes, and I think he's accurate, he can talk his guys into supporting him.
Yeah, but 3 years, Mike, is I would understand them being angry if it's October 20th and they're lollygagging in last place in the division. I would understand making a change then. I would not understand making a change after 15 or 20 days of the season. So I cannot see a change being made in week 3 or 4. I think it's borderline impossible.
There is one way a change would be made. That would be if Trey Lance gets injured. There's been a lot of talk about him learning how to slide and how to protect himself. And there was conversation earlier this week at press conferences by both Kyle Shanahan and Trey Lance as to this balance between protection and also getting the yards that you need when you're trying to win football games. Here's Trey Lance from Wednesday on this issue of protecting himself when he's between the lines.
Man, I'm not bigger, faster, and stronger than pretty much everyone else. Guys catch up a lot quicker. Guys, spaces fill. Guys close a lot faster. And got to learn to protect myself just being in a different situation, knowing how important it is for me to stay healthy. There's always going to be, like I said, man, a million times, there's always going to be better decisions I can make. But on Sunday, I felt like I protected myself pretty well. Felt good for the most part. Maybe a couple I could have got down one step faster or slashing, finding an edge and getting down. But for the most part, I mean, when I'm running between the tackles and stuff like that or running on third down, I'm not ever going to slide and go 4th and 2 and just give up on the play and send our defense on the field if it's a situation like that.
And that's fine, but that's when the opportunity arises to get yourself injured. The more hits you take, the more likely you eventually are to get injured. And Peter, he's getting the crash course in you're not in North Dakota State anymore. At the NFL level, all those things that allowed you to be clearly better than the guys you were competing against, that's out the window. And that realization, I think, applies to any college player when they go to the NFL. And every time you go up a level in football, it's faster, it's tougher, they're stronger, they're bigger. But especially when you go from an FCS level team all the way up to the NFL, that is a splash of cold water in the face.
Mike, I think his 13 rush attempts in game 1 are not indicative of what is going to happen in game 2 and beyond, because that was a function of playing, on a terrible weather day. So I wouldn't expect him to run it more than like 6 or 8 times in a game on average for the rest of this year or however long he plays. That is not really, I don't think, what Kyle Shanahan wants him to do. And so I think he's going to become a guy who throws from the pocket and who throws on the move much more than a guy who is looking to use designed runs to move the chains.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.